This is Valley View News.
Poland is in mourning after a plane crash over western Russia, killing 96 people. The city of Los Angeles is giving drivers a break at some parking meters across the city. A Cal State Northridge class project has become a new singing sensation on campus.
Good afternoon and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Suzanne Tatoy.
And I'm Fatima Zulkifli.
The city of Los Angeles is planning on spending millions of dollars replacing old parking meters, but in the meantime, residents are dealing with meters that are jammed and broken. And for some, the question has become, to park or not to park? Valley View's Jason Rose has the story.
The city of Los Angeles has more than 40,000 parking meters, and many of them don't always work. A few different indications of a malfunctioning meter are obvious. The cause could be a jammed coin or some other hindrance, but within the city of Los Angeles, drivers are supposed to be able to park at broken meters without getting a ticket. But that doesn't mean tickets are never given. This man came out of a store just in time to avoid getting a ticket at a failed parking meter. He had to demonstrate to the officer that the meter wouldn't accept payment. This has become a problem in Los Angeles, where parking is often hard to find. Some people would rather spend more time looking for an elusive parking spot than spend time fighting a wrongly issued ticket.
You know, I still won't, because I do think I'll still get a ticket and they'll expect me to come in and fight it, and I don't have the time.
Los Angeles City Councilman Tom LaBonge says he's heard too many complaints from his constituents and even one of his own field deputies about failed meter tickets.
But we do have a little bit of a problem. I don't like them giving tickets when it fails or breaks down. Consequently, they stated they do not do that. So I'm going to take them for that word, and we're going to make sure that we do the proper thing and get the turnover parking, but when it's broken, they shouldn't get a ticket.
Last fiscal year, the city issued 550,000 tickets for expired meters. Of those, only 2% were contested. 40% of the complaints were deemed valid. I'm here on a very busy stretch of Ventura Boulevard where I found 4 parking meters to be failing just within one small block. An outside firm has found that at least 10 to 12% of all parking meters in Los Angeles are malfunctioning at any given time. Jason Rose, Valley View News.
5 people have been killed in a multi-car crash in Los Angeles. The CHP says the accident was triggered by a heavy downpour on the southbound Interstate 5 near the 14 freeway in Newhall. The storm was expected to bring up to an inch of rain in the LA basin and up to 3 inches of rain in the local mountains. Residents in the burnt areas of the foothills prepared for more evacuations.
An investigation of the plane crash that killed Polish President Lech Kaczynski and 96 others continued for days after the tragedy. Officials from both Russia and Poland are trying to determine the cause of the crash. Reports say preliminary evidence showed no signs of mechanical problems on the plane. Investigators examining the site said their focus was on why the pilot failed to heed instructions from air traffic controllers. The Polish president has been known to pressure his pilots into landing in hazardous conditions. Reports say in August 2008, a pilot refused to land in bad weather. Kaczynski reportedly threatened him and told him he would face consequences.
President Barack Obama says he's working to keep nuclear weapons out of the hands of terrorists. Obama hosted a nuclear security summit and invited prime ministers and top officials to the White House. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton says the goal of the summit is to outline how each country will limit nuclear weapons and prevent their spread.
The risk of nuclear attack has actually increased, and the potential consequences of mishandling this challenge are deadly.
Obama has set out a new nuclear policy for the United States. The policy promised that the U.S. will refrain from nuclear tests and not use nuclear weapons against countries that do not have them.
The U.S. Supreme Court's leading liberal says he will retire this summer. John Paul Stevens was nominated in 1975 by President Gerald Ford. His announcement that he's stepping down came 11 days before his 90th birthday. Stevens is best known for opposing the death penalty, supporting a woman's right to abortion, and helping Guantanamo Bay detainees fight for their release. However, the case that sealed his legacy was Bush versus Gore, which gave Bush the presidency. President Obama is expected to nominate another liberal. Reports say Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton has been mentioned in connection with the upcoming Supreme Court vacancy.
The post office continues to be hammered by the economy and last year lost nearly $4 billion. Valley View's Brett Teal is in the newsroom with more on the Postal Service's plan to save money. Brett?
Customers are sending fewer letters and are relying more on email. Less mail has forced officials to rethink how often letters and packages should be delivered. One cost-cutting option being reviewed may force customers to send that important birthday card or credit card payment a few days earlier. These post office workers may not be making their appointed rounds on Saturdays anymore. The United States Postal Service has announced it is considering shortening deliveries to 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. But less deliveries would mean fewer jobs, and the Postal Service says up to 40,000 full-time positions could be eliminated. Mail carriers are not permitted to be interviewed on camera, but off camera, one worker says most are worried about their job security. And consumer reaction to the announcement around Burbank is mixed.
That's horrible because it would take even longer for packages to get places.
You know, we're in a tough economic time. Everybody's feeling it.
Most of the mail I get would be junk mail anyways.
And, you know, you can't feel good about that at all. I've just been laid off myself.
I understand, you know, everybody's making cuts.
The Postal Service can make cuts in other areas.
The Post Office projects it will have a $238 billion deficit over the next decade. The move would save the USPS more than $3 billion the first year and around $5 billion each year after that. But not all services would be cut on Saturdays.
Retail offices that are open on Saturdays now will remain open on Saturdays, as well as P.O. Box lobbies, express mail, and P.O. Box delivery.
Customers could still drop off letters in those blue boxes across the city, but they wouldn't be collected until Monday. Under the proposal, mail carriers would not pick up or deliver letters to homes unless a customer pays an additional charge for express mail. If approved by the Postal Regulatory Commission, the plan must then be okayed by Congress. Post Office officials say they hope the plan could be implemented as early as next year. In Burbank, I'm Brett Teal for Valley View News.
Metrolink is planning some big changes to offset their multi-million-dollar budget shortfall. Valley View's Claudine Sarmiento has the details on how much commuters could be paying and information on which trains could be derailed by July.
This could be one of the last times Metrolink train 108 from Ventura County rolls to a stop in Chatsworth. That's because the Metrolink board is considering eliminating 12 lines, including 8 trains on the Ventura County line. Metrolink officials say they originally had plans to slash 44 services, but decided to reduce that number so that the cutbacks would only affect 2% of its riders. Ventura commuters don't seem to mind the changes.
There's a 7:43 I take sometimes, an 8:25, and this is the late train at 8:50, which I like because there aren't that many people on it.
Right. The 8:25 one, they're planning on cutting that, so that's totally out of the question. What do you think about
that? I'll get over it.
Service cuts alone won't lift Metrolink out of its $8 million deficit for the next budget year. They say they will have to raise fares by 6%. That means a one-way ticket from Chatsworth to LA Union Station would go up from $8 to about $8.50. But Metrolink commuters say they are still on board.
If you have to compare the price of Metrolink to the comfort of taking the train rather than driving, I would still go for the Metrolink.
Other proposed changes include eliminating discounts on round-trip tickets and shortening the expiration date on 10-trip tickets. Senior disabled discounts on monthly passes would also be reduced from 50% to 25%. The Metrolink Board of Directors is scheduled to vote on the proposed plans on April 23rd. If approved, the service cuts and price hikes will go into effect as soon as July 1st. In Chatsworth, I'm Claudine Sarmiento for Valley View News.
Thousands of Anthem Blue Cross customers are awaiting a decision on rate increases. California's largest private health insurer sent letters to holders of individual policies. The company said it needed to boost rates up to 39%. The increase could possibly affect 800,000 people. Insurance Commissioner Steve Poizner ordered an investigation into the proposed increases. Anthem agreed to wait out for the results before going forward with the increases. The report is expected to be completed within 2 weeks.